Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jays Sit Down podcast. I'm your host Jade, and today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Football, uh, Chargers and Raiders. Last night was a great defensive output by the Los Angeles Chargers, held the Raiders to 3 field goals. Geno Smith threw 3 interceptions. He didn't play that well. Raiders running game couldn't really get going, and the Chargers came away with the win. So we'll talk about that, and I'll talk more specifically about how the LA Chargers might actually be a team to watch out for this year and a little bit more as we get throughout the podcast. But thank you guys for joining us here today. Also, make sure you can check us out on Twitter, Jace with Down Pod. We're also on TikTok, Jace with Down Pod, and on Instagram as well. So make sure you follow us there for more content, reels, things like that. And make sure you hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube. So, like I said, last night the Chargers and Raiders played. It was the second game of a Monday Night Football doubleheader. The first game was the Buccaneers and Texans, also a good game. But today we're primarily focusing on the Chargers and Raiders. And I gotta say, man, the Chargers are 2-0 right now, and they've played really good through these first 2 weeks of the season. Justin Herbert, in particular, has played really well. I mean, you know, he's on a mission this year, and the only question is for him is when the Chargers get to the postseason, if they make the postseason, can he continue that? Can he keep this play up consistently throughout the season? I talked uh, about Justin Herbert before on this podcast with Jonathan on our last episode, and I said that Justin Herbert, man, he's the type of guy he's a phenomenal quarterback, he's a phenomenal player, but his problem could be consistency, and when it comes down to those big games, especially in the playoffs, like he hasn't been able to perform so far up to this point in his career, and they're going to need him to do that. But more importantly, this is still important too. He's got to be able to keep that sustained throughout the season. It's a long season. We're only just finished with week 2, guys. It's a 17 game year, 17 game season. So he's got to keep that prolonged throughout the season as best he can. Stay healthy. That's another thing for the Chargers, man. They got to stay healthy. Keenan Allen, hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the year. I mean, Quentin Johnson, man. Real quick though, Quentin Johnson, guys. Remember we were all writing this guy off, man. They drafted him from TCU and he's struggling with drops last year and things like that. Even in practice, was having some issues. And he comes out this year. He scored 3 touchdowns so far on the season. Tied with Mika Ibuka for the most in the NFL so far through the first 2 weeks. So, I mean, I'm proud of him, man. I got to say kudos off to him for taking that criticism well, constructive criticism, and really putting in the effort and being intentional to improve in certain aspects of his game as an NFL wide receiver. And he has been delivering for the Chargers, and Justin Herbert has been getting him the football. And that's been an important thing for this offense so far. The only thing I would like to see better for them is to continue getting better in the run game, improving and running the football. Last night, Justin Herbert led the Chargers with 31 rushing yards. So as they move throughout the season, that's going to have to change. You're going to have to get Amari Hampton, the stud rookie running back, involved in the running game more and get him some more touches. Najee Harris, who they signed in free agency, hasn't really done much. He's a guy who's rushed for 1,000 yards the last couple of years, so they're gonna have to get him more touches, more carries. And looking at the Raiders side of things, I mean, they didn't run the football well either. Ashton Genty had 11 carries for 43 yards, so really, I would think that's the big takeaway I would say for both teams from last night's game is that they got to be able to run the football better because, as we all know, when you get to the playoffs, it helps to have a running game. We saw with the Eagles last year with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. You got to be able to run the football, keep that defense honest, keep them off their toes because that's going to open up the play action game. Those shots will be open down the field in the middle of the seam. So you got to be able to run the football. But I mean, overall, like I said, I think listen, hiring Jim Harbaugh for the Chargers was one of the best moves that they ever could have made. Like he is a coach that he's got that championship mentality. He's been in the NFL before, was coaching the 49ers before he went back, to college some years after to coach Michigan and then he wins the national championship there a couple years ago and now he's back in the NFL coaching the Chargers team he played for when he was playing in the league and it's just I think it's a great hire. I think it was a great hire for them. It's this team definitely plays different under him. They respect him. They stand by him. And as a football, speaking from experience, when your team, when you're a football player and you're able to have a coach where you can stand by, you trust him. That trust goes both ways. It can do a lot for the morale of the locker room for the football team. And I think Jim Harbaugh was an excellent hire there for LA. And bringing in Jesse Minter, who worked with him at Michigan as his defense coordinator, brought him to to LA to be his defense coordinator again. And so far, this defense has been phenomenal. Really, the past year or so. Obviously, last year it was good, and this year so far, I would say they're better. You know, and I like this what I'm seeing, especially from Devon Henley. He has been a stud for the Chargers. He was drafted in 2023. In the last couple years, he's really stepped his play up, and he's been really good for them. The star linebacker, very instinctive in coverage, and he's physical. All the things that you like to see out of a starting NFL linebacker, and he's played well for them last night. You had Dante Jackson get snag an interception. Tony Jefferson, the veteran, played well overall, and Derwin James, right? So the secondary for the Chargers is really one of the better ones in the league, and I really just like what I'm seeing so far from them this year. And I think that they have potential to do more. I think that throughout the season we're going to see them get tested a little bit more. They haven't played the Chiefs. Well, I mean, where they have played the Chiefs again is what I meant to say, and we'll see by the time that rolls around if Kansas City will be better offensively. They might have Xavier Worthy and Rasheed Rice both back then. But for right now, again, through the first 2 weeks, LA is looking like a pretty good football team. And I mean, yeah, signing Keenan Allen in free agency, like a lot of people were predicting that he would go back to the Chargers. And Jim Harbaugh was like, you know what? We should go get this guy. I mean, he seems like a pretty good football player. Let's go grab him, and they did. He grabbed a touchdown last night. So I like what I see. And for the Raiders, um, like yeah, it's sucky loss for them, but they can bounce back. They got the next game for them is against the Commanders, so we'll see. Jaden Daniels so far has reportedly been day to day with an injury, so we will get more information on that, and I'll update you guys. But so far, we'll not sure if he's going to play or not in that game. Most likely will. And for the Chargers, their next game is against the Denver Broncos, right? So, a team whose defense I've been very proud of on this podcast before. That's another, and that still am. I mean, they're a phenomenal defense. Nick Bonito just got paid a monster contract extension. They're a starting outside linebacker. He's getting paid over $100 million, and rightfully so. He had almost 16 sacks last year, so great year for him, and he's one of the league's better up and coming pass rushers. And we all know about Patrick Surtain, right? So Broncos are a great team. So that'll be a good test for the Chargers next week. Broncos coming off um, a win against who did they play? I'm trying to remember who the Broncos played. I believe it was the Colts. They lost against. Yeah, they lost. Yeah, they lost against the Colts. So the Colts are also 2-0. That's a whole other podcast episode by itself. But that should be a really good game. AFC West matchup, another one for the Chargers. So it's going to be hard, physical game, just like kind of this one was. But I expect Justin Herbert to come through again. So let me know what you guys think, though. Do you think Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? Do you think he's better than Jalen Hurts? Do you think he is up there with Lamar and Josh and Patrick Mahomes? Like, I want to know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments, please. And because honestly, like, I believe that Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. We all know this. He's a Super Bowl champ. Went to Super Bowl a couple years ago too with the Eagles when they played the Kansas City for the first time, and then he gets back. They blow him out last year. This past season in the Super Bowl, I think he's a great quarterback. I think Justin Herbert. Obviously, I mean Justin Herbert hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. Well, a playoff, not even a playoff game. So I can't put him right there just yet. He's up there though. He's up there in that list. Like he's definitely to me a sure top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Like I have no doubt about that in my mind. So that's what I think about Justin Herbert. But let me know what you guys think. Like I mean, everybody talk about Jalen Hurts like he's a great running quarterback. He can't really throw the football. And I'm like, listen, like see, people don't understand. Like some people don't understand football, and it like blows my mind. You know, when you have a quarterback that can run the football like he can, and when you can build and cater your offense to around that, and you have running back like Saquon Barkley as well, talented playmakers: AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goddard catching the football. Like it's like I don't know, man. It's like people have these super high expectations and expect every quarterback to be like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and be able to throw the football over down the field and stuff. And like that's you know like you can. There's more than one way to be a quarterback. There's more. Not everybody is a pocket passer. Jalen Hurts is certainly not what he is. He is a guy that is very mobile and can throw the football as well. People act like he cannot. Like, you guys remember that deep bomb he threw to Devontae Smith in the Super Bowl this past year? I mean, he can throw the football. It's just not something that the Eagles are going to sit back and do for 20, 30 times a game and throw the football and drop back. That's just not their offense. What their offense is catered around is a strong offensive line, physical offensive line, running the football, attacking from the line of scrimmage from on, and using that play action, right? And using their tight ends across the middle of the field, taking those deep shots when they're there, and if they're not, then so be it. They'll take what the defense will give them, and Jalen Hurts will run the football. Saquon Barkley will run the football. A lot of those counters, a lot of those trap plays. That's what their offense is built around, and it has got them success. So I don't really see a problem with Jalen Hurts in that regard. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, but again, and we'll see. So, but thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Jay's Fifth Down. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check us out here. Leave us a like. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Your thoughts about last night's football game between the Raiders and the Chargers and the Bucks and the Texans. Right. So we will see you next time on the show.